We probably met so many people in our lives. We met them in good and bad circumstances, maybe through streets, pavements, at the mall while we commute in our everyday errands. And so many instances and places we met new people. I would like to share this experience this year 2022 where a new chapter of my life is written with good and bad experiences. But the most interesting part about this journey is that I get to meet new people that turns to be the best. I first walked the ground of Holy Cross College under an umbrella in a rainy day, along the way to the registrar's office way back then, when literally no idea and all I know is I need to enroll and study. I have no idea about what course I'm going to take because all my life my desire is to become a nurse. But sadly, life is so hard and reality makes it more harder, not just for me but for my family. So I had to give up that dream because we don't have the resources for me to pursue that dream of mine. So I have to choose what course that my family can afford somehow. So when I have to choose a course, I picked the course education. Because at that time my thinking was maybe I can treat my students when I become a teacher as my patient, something like that. My first encounter in a face-to-face class was the subject Good Manners and Right Conduct with Values Education. When I first saw it in my enrolled subject, it reminds me so much of my elementary days, where it was taught to me throughout my elementary days. Before, I really do not know and cannot see the value of this subject when I was a child, because I believe my mindset what way back then is go to school, stay from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., participate in class, and play, and that is kind of my routine back then. Because I do not have any idea at all about this kind of values my teacher teaching me during that time. Because all I know is when I do good things, I do not have to get a punishment. And on the other hand, when I do bad things, I get a punishment for behaving wrong. And that is how I define values back then. It all about doing good and everything have its own consequences. Whenever we do either of the two, our choices defines what our destiny is. Back then, as a child, I grew up with a Roman Catholic family, so I believe in all God's words, that I need to follow them, that they must be obeyed. My family is my teacher, model, influencer, and the reason why I have values. They were my standard that I mean is that in a certain action I always think this way for an instance. My family won't do that, so I probably should not do it either. I don't know if that makes sense, but that is how I grew. If my family is not doing that kind of action, then I wouldn't do it either. Like for example, whenever there are visitors in our home, they are greeting them and welcome them. So as for me, I will do the same in every time we have visitors in our house or home. Values were taught first in home, and we can never argue with that because that is a fact, and we all go through that. Family values can guide us to become the kind of person we want to be. And there are so many values our family taught us. They are the ones who guide us in our decision making. They probably know what is best for us, and by the time goes by, we stay consistent when making decisions in our everyday life. The foundation of the next generation is family values. They influence the character of the decision-makers of the future. For instance, it- if many families choose generosity as one of their core principles, the subsequent generation will also develop this trait because of this. People in this generation are more inclined to consider other needs while making crucial decisions. This year was a roller coaster ride. I came across to this professor who we can regard as the best when it comes to his profession. The first time I saw him, I noticed his great mind and his ability to teach. The first thing he makes me understand is the value of good manners and right conduct, which is not always about what we say, but also what we can do, that our actions matter. I came across to so many teachers nor educators, but I can say he is one of the best I have met. His extraordinary ability to explain a certain topic and as well as the way he encourages us all to learn. He explains everything briefly and focuses on key points. He is probably the definition of a true college professor because of the fact that he acts like one. Some might say that his subject is common and don't matter, but it is. It matters, we just don't want to explore it. Good manners and right conduct with values education opened my eyes in every possible angle I can look at it and see the bigger picture of how this subject matters for everyone. It taught me that through our own thought, we can turn it into our words, that turns actions, that turns into our habits, and influence our personality and eventually lead us to our destiny. We had to go through so many wars to build our own values way back then, where countries colonized us and influenced us about what is values and respect. One example of that is the time where Japanese colonized us, and during that period, they taught us so many values. Like, for example, the teaching character, education, the importance of work, the value of being generous to people, and teach us love. Good manners and right conduct was taught by the family during American period, and they do not teach us anything related to religion. Today's values are the fruit of our history, which define what kinds of person or people we are right now. To fully understand the subject, I had to know what values are integrated in home, in school curriculum, in classroom, and what hidden curriculum is. If we observe our own home, we really could tell what kind of family we have. Our family is one of the best foundations of what kind of values we integrate to ourselves and to others. Value integration in school curriculum is all about the values students must know how to use their knowledge to better themselves and society. There is always so much out there in our world has to offer, but what values we can offer the world to make it a better place, a safe world we can live in. Values in classroom, these are values an educators taught his students to do what is right nor promoting positive perceptions among the life of the students. Hidden curriculum is basically a learning that wasn't intentionally taught, but rather learned by yourself nor by observing other people's actions. Individuals might be influenced both positively and negatively by hidden curriculum. This subject has so much for us to offer, to learn. This subject makes me realize that as the highest form of animal, we have the capacity to think, talk, and act accordingly. We must behave well and perform good manners. Every one of us learn in so many things, from our own family members, friends, neighbors, teachers, strangers, and etc. This subject helps me distinguish how people behave. Some behave well with the use of sweet and flowery words, but that is the only one side of the story that is being heard. And there are always two sides of the story, the bad and good. That is an example of a bad manners. As a future educator, this subject enlightens me to see vision of how I'm going to teach my future students to behave and how can I mold them and turn them the best version of themselves. The kind of student with passion, dedication, respect, gratitude, honesty, and so many more values that I believe are essentials for them and for all of us because it helps us how to behave well in society. In conclusion, good manners are vital to each and every one of us in the society. We must always put this in our minds that practicing and following good manners lead us to a better place in life. Jean Clyde de Guzman Ignacio was born on summer day of May 2, 2003 at Marawa and Nueva Ecija. This black-eyed boy was second child of his family. They were four brothers and all their names are patterned to start with the letter J, and the second name should start with the letter C. This boy grew in a loving family. He believes that magic exists, that fairy tales are true. This boy is living with his imagination. He got influenced to play sports that turns to be his hobby. That turns out that he is good at it. That turns to be his ticket to be a varsity player. He always wanted to be from his elementary days up until senior high school, and now a college student taking an education course. Volleyball has a great part on his life. It taught him how to feel sad, happy, and confident. His interest includes watching movies, either science fiction or horror. Loves to try new things on his own, and basically loves to sleep a lot. He loves to spend time on his own. He loves listening in good music while drinking a hot cup of coffee on a rainy, sunny, and hot days. That's how much he loved coffee. It's basically the fuel for him to function. He wanted to be a nurse, but life hit him hard as rock and had to pursue another career that he might not like or good at, but who knows, life has so much to offer nor full of surprises.